A Florida man claims he caught a time traveler coming out of his shed. A Florida man was arrested for biting off a piece of a cop's head. A Florida man points his AR-15 at the Uber driver that just dropped his daughter off at home. The best U.S. city for nude gardening happens to be in Florida, and a man was stopped at the Miami airport with snakes inside his pants. All these stories are from Florida because it's Friday, and on Weird AF News on Friday, we only do weird news from Florida. It's called Florida Friday on Weird AF News. Let's get right into it. Did a Florida man catch a time traveler on his Ring camera footage? The topic of time travel isn't that new, but after Florida man Alex Shaw shared some Ring camera footage on social media, it's opening up a new portal of possibilities for many. Alex's viral video has people questioning if time travel is actually possible or if he's just messing with everybody somehow. I'm going to guess he's messing with everybody, because if you're time traveling, why would you go to Florida in the 21st century? That's not a place you would go. Unless you're taking notes for some quirky reality series on your planet or for your time, I suppose. I'm trying to think, what are reasons that you would time travel to Florida? You want to experience some good drugs? I don't know. You want to see humanity at its lowest in history? Yeah, you go to Florida in the 21st century. Now, let's start from the beginning. Alex Shaw has posted a series of video on this topic of the confused stranger in his backyard that appears to time travel as the Ring camera captures all of the fun. Here's a quote from Alec. "This dude's coming onto my property to what looks like rob my house, but it actually turns out he's just a time traveler. I literally can't even make this up if I wanted to make this up. It just blows my mind." In the footage, the man in the video appears to just be wandering around the backyard of Alex's Airbnb. He looks lost or confused as he circles the small yard before entering a shed. Alec explained that he was talking to him through the camera, asking why he was in the shed, but he never responded. He just remains inside the shed. Alex says, "I literally was watching it the entire time, so I ended up calling the police. You can see they literally go inside the shed, but the man is not in the shed." Alex said he watched the camera the entire time, never saw the man leave the shed. The police didn't see anyone in there either, nor did they see someone leave the shed. "I don't know if there's a tunnel in my shed in the backyard. I don't know if he teleported. I don't know where this guy went or why he went into that shed." So you conclude that he's a time traveler? Is that where you went with that, Alec? I mean, Occam's razor, guys. Occam's razor. The simplest solution is preferred in all circumstances. But Alec is just jumping to time traveler. He concluded his video by asking his viewers to let him know what they think. And they did. Comments quickly began pouring in about what must have happened. People are very bored, and they need to comment on everything, even some stranger's Ring camera video footage. People can't get enough of responding to strangers' Ring camera footage. People have nothing better to do in life. I don't know why. People are very bored, very bored. They don't know what to do with their money either. They're giving it away to very squirrely institutions, and I can suggest much more productive ways in which you could spend your money. Alec made a follow-up video. I don't know why I'm covering this story. The title was "A Florida Man Found a Time Traveler." I just thought this would be a good story, but it's just some social media flackery, unfortunately. Anyways, Alex shares more footage of the man wandering around the backyard, entering the shed. He says, "You could see him wandering around like he throws up in his arms. And then, what's he looking for?" This is just super mysterious, man. No, it's not mysterious, bro. It's a crackhead. And you're wandering around on your property in Florida. This is a super common experience. They'll go into your shed. They'll take a swim in your pool. If you happen to leave your front door open a crack, they'll go in and make a grilled cheese sandwich and then take a crap on your toilet and not flush. I mean, that's just normal Florida behavior for you. One person on social media sort of loved the time traveling theory. This person wrote, "He looks like he could be from the late 80s, honestly. And he looks about 40. That would put him at 70-ish current time. That could totally be a time traveler. Anything's possible." No, not anything is not possible. And just because the guy's got a mullet doesn't mean he's from the 80s. People are wearing mullets now, guys. I don't know if you realize, but mullets came back. All fashion comes back around in a cyclical manner. It takes about 3 decades to get around, but it all comes back around. It's not a time traveler. It's a tweaker. That's a tweaker, I can tell you. I've seen enough footage of Floridaman to tell you that this is a genuine tweaker in your backyard. You should be more concerned about what he's stealing, not what decade he traveled from. A Florida man bit a piece of a police officer's head at a music festival. Well, guys, sometimes crime bites back. A drugged-out Florida man was busted following a horrific attack on a sheriff's deputy at a local music festival. Apparently, he bit a chunk of the police officer's head, according to the authorities. Well, just Florida man doing Florida man stuff, happily acting out the zombie apocalypse. There's a photo of this man. Wow, he's smiling. He looks like he would definitely do it again. For sure. This guy has a look on his face like, next time I'm going to add barbecue sauce and digest it. This guy's name is James Anderson, a volunteer at the Vortex Springs Soul Fest. He was charged, but he was the volunteer at the festival? Wow. Well, you know, when you get these volunteers, you don't pay them very much, so you get all kinds of questionable characters, I would say. And they like to take drugs at these festivals. You don't know what kind of state they're going to show up to volunteer in at a Florida festival. He was charged with resisting arrest and aggravated battery of a law enforcement officer at the festival on Monday. The Holmes County Sheriff's Office say that James Anderson, the Florida man, was allegedly under the influence of the following: PCP, LSD, ketamine, mushrooms, and ecstasy. Wow, now that is a concoction if I've ever heard of one. I've been on all of these, not at once. No, have I been on PCP? I don't believe I've been on PCP. I've been on the others, not all at once, though. I've combined a couple of these at the same time. Yeah, I've actually combined maybe 3 of these at the same time, I'll admit. Never had the gumption to bite a human being's forehead after that, but yeah. Then again, I'm not subjected to that Florida heat and humidity. That can just make you crazy. The deputy, whose name was not released, was on patrol at the music festival when he got into a scuffle with a rowdy Florida man, Anderson, who had to be subdued via taser after taking a chunk out of the cop's head. Ugh. Excuse me. This is not a pork tenderloin, sir. This is my head. Feel my taser. A grisly photo of the police officer's hideous injury shows a massive gaping hole in the back of his skull. The article that I'm looking at doesn't include that grisly photo, thankfully, because I don't think I want to see it. Here's a quote from a festival goer named Autumn. You know, with a name like Autumn, you have to go to every festival, it would seem to me. There's always going to be positivity, and there's going to be negativity. It's just part of how the world works and the universe works. Oh, thanks, Autumn, for giving us this philosophical take on what went down with the head biting. There's always going to be negativity and positivity in the universe. Wow, I had no idea. You can't have, she goes on to say, you can't have good without the bad. But for the most part, the festival was nothing but like higher vibrational people. People loving each other, supporting each other. I'm going to guess Autumn is a personal life coach of some sort. It says here the sheriff's office did not immediately respond to a request for comment. What about the police officer that got his head bitten? What does he have to say about all of this? I'd like to know, for one, if the cop has turned yet, you know, because that's all it takes to turn you. And now this cop could be a wandering, groaning zombie specimen inside the hospital. Have we tracked this guy down? Did we do a follow-up on the cop? Is he in fact a zombie now? He had to have been very surprised to take the gig, work in a music festival. He's probably, that's going to be an easy gig, working the festival, you know. Bunch of hippies dancing. What could possibly go wrong? Oh, my head's being bitten by a tweaker. The Soul Fest, the article goes on to say, is an electronic dance music festival held May 2nd to the 5th at the Vortex Spring in Ponce de Leon. Ponce de Leon is a place. I've never heard of Ponce de Leon, a place. I've heard of Ponce de Leon, a dude who liked to explore the world, right? It's kind of like a Marco Polo character. but just never got the credit that Marco Polo got, and never got the recognition in the form of a game that we all played in the swimming pool, where you close your eyes and yell Marco and listen for the polo. How do you think Marco Polo feels about that? Like, centuries have gone by, and he's sort of remembered by this stupid game that we all play in a swimming pool. A Florida man points his AR-15 in an Uber driver's face for dropping his daughter off at home. Wouldn't you want the Uber driver to drop your daughter off at home? Maybe the Uber driver drove up inebriated. Let's keep reading and find some more information about what happened here. Stories out of Milton, Florida. A Florida father was arrested over the weekend after pulling an AR-15 rifle on the Uber driver who dropped his daughter off at his home. Oh, okay. Just another good guy with a gun protecting society against Uber drivers going exactly where they're supposed to go. We're going to have to arm the Uber drivers now, along with the teachers. Sean Hollenbeck is the Florida man, age 54. He was taken to jail on charges of false imprisonment of a person and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. This took place shortly before 11 p.m. An Uber driver arrived at Hollenbeck's Florida man's home to drop off the suspect's daughter. The young female was still in the vehicle when she saw her father run up to the driver with his AR-15 in hand and force him onto the ground. The daughter recalled that her father was, quote, acting crazy as he waved the gun around and yelled. Deputies claim that Hollenbeck pointed the gun in the driver's face and screamed at him to get out of the car as his daughter went inside the home. The report stated the daughter had friends over at the home who also witnessed this incident. Nothing like waving your AR-15 around in front of your daughter and her friends. It's a good way to spend the evening. The Florida man forced the driver to show his driver's license before taking pictures of it and then letting him go. How strange. According to the report, the Florida man admitted to his actions and said he was, quote, afraid for his daughter's safety. The Florida man claimed he didn't know who his daughter was with and claims she had left without permission. Well, that's obviously a concern of a father when you don't know where she is. She's probably not answering his texts and whatnot, so that was probably scary. And when she got dropped off, he was probably like, is this some boy I don't approve of? But waving your AR-15 around, putting it in people's faces is just, I mean, it seems to be common in Florida, but it's just really not the way to go about it. Mr. Hollenbeck is a retired U.S. Army colonel. He runs a nonprofit called the Warhorse Project that connects individuals, primarily veterans suffering from trauma, with therapy horses. Wow, that's a strange activity to be involved with, but it's probably pretty helpful, helping out veterans who are suffering from trauma. I have to say, it sounds to me like he's suffering from some trauma as well, pulling guns out at the drop of a hat. He told the media that he would likely have to sell some of his assets to pay for his legal defense. He said he was also fired on Tuesday. He told the media that his daughter had snuck out and took an Uber to Pensacola, Florida, leaving him worried at home. He says, that vehicle was completely unmarked. I had no idea that in my mind this was not good, and everybody knows what's going on in this country with fentanyl and child trafficking and rape. It's just terrible stuff. Well, hold on, Florida man. Yeah, I mean, I agree. There's child trafficking and fentanyl and rape going on, but, child traffickers ordinarily don't drop your daughter off at home. Opposite. They take your daughter far from home. They don't want your daughter to be at home. They want your daughter to be elsewhere. Hollenbeck says that after he discovered his daughter had snuck out, he called law enforcement for help, and he argued that his actions were justified under his parental rights. Well, I don't know what kind of parental rights he's referring to, but I don't believe parental rights include waving a semi-automatic weapon in someone's face. The county sheriff reportedly told Mr. Hollenbeck that he was being overprotective and told him to get his facts straight before he brandishes a weapon in the future. We have a quote from the sheriff here that says, obviously, you're talking about a young girl being out late at night. If it's my daughter, I'd be worried as well, but it's important to get all the facts that you can get prior to engaging somebody with semi-automatic weaponry. Yeah, well, I mean, this is the problem with a lot of the gun community. This is why we have a lot of problems in the country. They don't get their facts straight before engaging with their weapon. They seem to take the weapon out before acquiring any knowledge of the situation, and then you know where that will lead you. My guess is this will all end with the father being released expediently from the jail, and he'll be allowed to keep his guns, I'd imagine, as well, because in Florida, you can keep your guns no matter what. They don't like the marijuana. They put you in jail for 20 months for that, but wave your gun around in people's faces, that's no problem. Hey, so long as you don't read the wrong books or enter the wrong bathroom in Florida, you can pretty much do whatever you want. Miami, Florida is ranked number 1 in best cities for nude gardening. May 4th was World Naked Gardening Day. Did you know that? Did you guys get out in the garden naked? I had no idea about World Naked Gardening Day. Connie from Georgia. Well, you didn't let me know about World Naked Gardening Day. She lets me know about all kinds of weird days. We have a company here named Lawn Starter. They ranked the best cities for naked gardening in 2024. They compared 500 major U.S. cities based on the weather, local interest, nude gardener friendliness, and safety. The safety? You sure a Florida result is going to finish high in the safety department? Lawn Starter also took into consideration the legality of public nudity, the number of local nudists, and some Google searches. Using these metrics, they concluded the top 10 cities for gardening in the nude are as follows. Number 1, Miami, Florida. Number 2, Philadelphia. 3, New York City. 4, Austin, Texas. 5, Asheville, North Carolina. 6, Los Angeles, California. 7, Pasadena, California. 8, Sacramento, California. 9, Albuquerque, New Mexico. And 10, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Those are the top 10 best cities to garden in the nude. So if you live in one of those places, you no doubt had seen some nude gardeners on May 4th. Did you see them? Don't whip out your phone and take video footage of that. Let them do their thing in the nude. They also rank the worst cities for naked gardening. Surprise, surprise, Anchorage, Alaska, number 1. Also, Minnesota's up there, Utah, Montana, Utah. A lot of Utahs and Montanas up there because they're cold. And, well, of course, in Utah, I think they'll put you in jail if you show your ankle. So they're still dealing with those squirrely religious folk up there. They also noted that though it didn't make the top 10 list, Bloomington, Minnesota is the safest city to be naked in your garden, followed by Plymouth, Minnesota, and San Ramon, California. Now, my personal take on gardening in the nude is I don't do it. I don't have a garden, and if I did, I wouldn't do it in the nude. It seems dangerous to me to be out there in the nude. There's all kinds of critters and insects out there. I mean, imagine bending over to pick up some berries, and then you have fire ants biting at your own berries. That's not something you want. I suppose, though, if you're going to be nude in the garden, Florida's a good place to do it because it's just kind of too hot for clothing, is it not? Florida's also, if you don't know, number 1 for naked tweaking in Walmart parking lots, and it's number 1 for drugged up spice zombies eating people's foreheads. Now, in case you had missed the Naked Gardening Day, which was about a week ago, you can still get out there with your butthole and you can sun it. Have you guys heard about sunning your butthole? It's a story I covered a few years ago. People get out there and they raise their butthole to the sky and they take in all that sun, and apparently it's very good for your health. So there's some benefits out there being naked in the sunshine. And you don't necessarily have to have a green thumb to enjoy it, is my point. If you do come across disclaimer, if you come across a naked man in Florida, though, don't assume he's gardening. Assume he's on drugs and run the other way.
Yay! Got an alligator in my backyard and nobody cares. Nobody cares. Got an alligator in my patio and nobody cares. Nobody cares. Had an alligator at my birthday party and nobody cared. Nobody cared. Had an alligator in the front seat of my Volkswagen and nobody cared, 'cause it's Florida. Alligators everywhere and nobody cares. In Florida there's alligators everywhere and nobody cares.
A Florida man was stopped attempting to bring snakes on a plane inside his pantalones. This story is out of Miami. Officials at the Miami International Airport say that a man was trying to board a flight with snakes inside his pants. It's called a trouser snake, when you got snake in your pants right there, right? You guys know about the trouser snake? Sir, is that a snake in your pants, or you're happy to see me? Oh, it really is a snake. Okay, carry on. Carry on. This guy's got some real balls to transport snakes down his pants. Down my pants is one of the last places I want a snake. Transportation Security Administration, also known as the TSA, has these agents that none of us really adore. The agents, though, did their job in this instance. They caught the unidentified Florida man with a small bag down his pants. Inside the bag was some small reptiles. So do you mean not only snakes, but other reptiles, like maybe some geckos down there? Was there like a Gila monster? Perhaps a Komodo dragon. Is that considered a reptile? It looks cold-blooded to me. Now, the bag was hidden in the passenger's clothing, a.k.a. his pants, according to officials. The post included a photo of two small snakes that were found in what appeared to be a sunglasses bag. The snakes were turned over to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, thankfully. I'll do a follow-up story to make sure the snakes found a safe home to live in. I feel bad for snakes in Florida. People keep putting them down their pants, trying to take them on long flights. I mean, long flights are annoying, I can tell you. I was just on 8 of them, and yeah, not good, even for a snake. And you certainly don't want to be traveling on a long flight down somebody's pants. That's not very comfortable. Just be thankful they weren't in his butt, though. This is a Florida man. It's pretty Florida man to put the reptiles in your butt when you're smuggling. Why you smuggle snakes, I don't know. You get a lot of money for snakes? I'm not sure. There's got to be a better way to smuggle snakes, though, than this. Trying to bring them on a plane, it just seems a little ambitious. A train would be better. A train, you could probably get snakes on a train. Although at that point, they'd have to stay down your pants for a longer time interval, and that might be a source of anxiety for you as a snakes smuggler. Lastly, I'll just say, where's Samuel L. Jackson when you need him, you know? We need a guy who's like, I'm tired of these mother effing snakes in these guys' mother effing pants! Yay! Hello, my friends and loyal listeners of the Weird AF News podcast. Thanks for spending some time with me in this Florida Friday episode. Thank you to everyone who emailed me and sent me links to weird Florida news from this week. I really appreciate that. You can always send me emails to funnyjones@gmail.com. You can even send hate emails, which I've seemed to be getting lately, which is lovely. That lets me know I'm doing my job. When people are just up in arms and butthurt about my podcast. If you want to call the show, there's a phone number here, 646-450, express yourself. Oh, sorry, 646-450-2012. Express yourself on the floor, the weird, I can't even talk, Weird AF News open line there. You can leave a voicemail. Please state your name and where you're from. And if you hate me, please say why. If you love me, please say why. I got some support here that I want to bring recognition to people who joined the Patreon. First of all, Andrew Patrick joined the Patreon about a week ago, and I believe I failed to give Andrew his due. So forgive me, Andrew. As you know, during that time, I was extremely sick, and so some things passed by me, and now I'm just trying to catch up right now. So I just want to make sure you get your credit. Andrew Patrick joined the Patreon, and I'm so grateful. When I got that email, and I just want to let you know I appreciate the support. Please enjoy the extra content in the Patreon. Andrew Patrick, I'm not sure where you're from, but I'll send you a DM in there. Get to know you. And thank you for the support, man. I really appreciate that. Also, a new patron named Crystal Rogers Crow. Did I say that correctly? Rogers Crow? Rogers Crow. I think it's a hyphenated last name, and I'm sorry if I butchered it, Crystal. Crystal just joined the Patreon, so shout out to Crystal for showing some major support as well for the Weird AF News enterprise that we have here going on inside a closet right there. That's how we do it around here. Anyways, Crystal, please enjoy the extra content in the Patreon. The last few things in there were just updates about my health, but I'm going to put in some weird media this weekend, so you'll get some stuff in there, as I typically do in the Patreon. It's a great place it's a great little club of people who are big fans of the show, and you get extra content in there. That's what the Patreon's all about. You also get a good feeling knowing that you're supporting a one-man daily news enterprise here. It's, I guess if you could call this an enterprise. I don't know what is the true definition of an enterprise. Can it be one person in a closet? That might be an enterprise. Anyways, we're doing the best we can here. And I appreciate all of the love and the support and all of the listenership. I couldn't do it without any of this. So it's listeners like you that keep me doing this, keep this going, the encouragement that I get. Outside of the people that don't like it, I get a lot of people who do like it, and that encourages me to keep plowing away with these episodes 5 days a week. And just an update on my health. They're still running tests on me. They believe I still might have some sort of parasite. So we're gonna know. We should know no later than Monday what the diagnosis. The diagnosis is for Jonesy. I am feeling better though, and I'm moving around, which is good. And I'm eating solid foods, and I'm not peeing out my backside anymore. So I'm getting somewhere, anyways. But I just want to thank everyone who's reached out to me during that crucial time where I was dealing with I didn't know what. I just thought I was dying. So yeah, thank you for all your care and concern. Thanks to all the birthday wishes that I've gotten. It was kind of a lame birthday for me because I was alone. But in a lot of other ways, I wasn't alone because people reached out to me to wish me a happy birthday. People left messages and sent me emails and DMs, and even bought me coffees and sent me gifts. So it was a great birthday nonetheless. So and I thank you guys for that. So I appreciate you very much. I hope you have a great weekend, and good luck with your life, man.